Good morning and welcome to Cheche, the show where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV. I'm your host, Udwak Amimo. Happy New Year. Well, elections, they're a year away, but the strategizing, positioning, and party formations are in full swing. Our guest today is doing all of that. He's the governor of Bomet County, Isaac Ruto. He's announced a new party, the Mashinani Party, and he's here to tell us about it. As always, we have a panel. You know them well. Otegi Njau and David Makali. Good morning, all, and welcome to the show. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you guys this year. Sir, tell us about your party, Mashinani Party, and why you felt the need to form it.
I felt there is need for a party that is focused on devolution and focused on the real ideals on how to improve the rural folk in this country. All the other parties are just the same. They are only talking about a confused way of approach to development, and most of them are basically tribal outfits. They are only pushing either tribal or individual agenda. But a lot of them are not focused on how we are going to improve the lot of Kenyans. I'm personally concerned, and a number of my friends are concerned, that we are losing it. We are overemphasizing tribalism. And
we'll come to tribalism in a minute, because you say that your party is focused on devolution, and the other parties out there on the political landscape are confused about what it is they're doing. Make this clearer to us, because you claim to be offering an alternative, but in what regard, given that devolution is enshrined in the Constitution?
It is not. Devolution as of now is just there in name. Everybody is talking about devolution, but the actual disbursements of allocations, the actual percentages, are not a major issue to the political parties. They would rather they retain resources while they talk about devolution. They talk about going to establish structures in the rural areas, but doing nothing in terms of actual development in those areas. They are more focused.
What's the difference between what you are saying and what the ODM is saying? ODM, the referendum call is for Pesa Mashinani.
Yeah, can you look at the structure of ODM? The structure of ODM is basically the same as always has been. We are talking about devolving in a political power, decision making to the counties. It should reflect the two levels of management of the country. As of now, you have got a top all the way down approach on all these issues. I would rather we start changing to come up from below and have structures at the counties that do not necessarily exist at the mercy of the top.
Wait a minute. At what point really did this great idea come to you? You know, are you trying to hijack the Pesa Mashinani referendum initiative which you led when you were the chairman of the Council of Governors, and has since, just died, and now we see it being reborn in the form of a party led by yourself?
I have been on this. Remember, in 2002, I supported Kibaki, but thereafter we went to Bomas. And as soon as Kibaki reneged on actual implementation of the Bomas constitution, we formed Katiba Watch with Martin Shikuku. And we moved around the country emphasizing the need for proper devolution. Remember, we even had a rally to Uhuru Park on 3rd of July. I think it was either 2002 or so, in which Kibaki actually sent us even dogs and the tear gas and some strange fluid using helicopters. Can you recall? I was in that, and I even got injured. This is not an idea I'm coming up with right now. I have been on it. Remember, Katiba Watch pushed their agenda until some people in formerly they were NDP came to join us, and those who were in Kano came to join us. That's why we back at ODM.
So what is the correlation with the referendum drive, which seems to have died down?
It has not died down.
Is it? Are you trying to revive it? Strategically?
It does not die down.
Seeing as there is no drive for
it does not die down. The other one, Pesa Mashinani, is on, and we are pushing it. We are simply saying there is need for Kenyans to refocus their minds on what is happening in far-flung areas. Take, for example, a place as close as Kajiado. If you go there, you don't believe that they are in Kenya and that they are just within the Nairobi area. And if you go to outskirts, remember recently we heard of amid the fast Syrian deliveries, What is happening in the rural areas? Are Kenyans really focused on those things? We are only talking about urban areas, and that is where you yourselves are usually very comfortable with.
Okay.
But the largest percentage of Kenyans are in the rural areas.
We know all of that.
Access medical care.
Right.
And the current structure of political leadership in Kenya is more focused on the urban and the rich.
I understand all of that, but to press further with Mutegi's question, how will your first of all, has your party been registered?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What's the registration name? What?
Patriotic People's Party.
And when was that registered?
Quite a while ago.
A long time ago. So essentially, you've taken that out of the woodwork and given it a new name, and you're preparing it for 2017. Is that what you've done?
What do you mean taking that?
Yes, I mean
you say that you had registered it.
Yes, it has been registered. We are simply saying.
What year? 2015?
Rebranding it.
Okay.
I don't think the dates are important at the moment.
No.
I think it is the ideas that are the issues.
For the benefit of our viewers, because you know that in this country we have a history of parking political parties until such a time as when you want to roll them out. So when was your party registered?
Quite a while ago.
Quite a while ago.
Yes.
You're not sure of the date?
Quite a while ago.
But the Patriotic People's Party.
No, just a minute. What is quite a while ago?
But I think the issue is the ideology. I think that is what you should be focusing on.
No, we will talk.
I don't have the date with me, so I don't want to tell you on national television that it is June, and then when you go and check, you say Isaac lied.
Okay, fine.
On
so then
television.
let's come to the issue then of structures, because you criticize ODM in terms of their structures.
And I really don't want to focus on criticizing ODM. You just asked me a question about ODM. There are a lot of things that I agree with ODM.
So then in the structuring of your rebranded party, which has existed for a while, how are you going to ensure that devolution is entrenched in the party formation?
First of all, in the structures that we are going to form.
How so?
Remember, for example, right now, even in my own party, recently, the national level...
Which party now? Because
URP.
URP. So you haven't quit URP yet?
URP.
You're still a member of URP. Have you quit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But doesn't that violate the Political Parties Act?
Remember Article 38, the rights of to political... the political rights are enshrined in the Constitution. And if that conflicts with any law, that law becomes invalid.
Yeah, but the same Constitution says you cannot promote the ideas and ideals of another party while you're sitting in another.
That is when you are an MP. That is under Article 103.
Your position allows you to do that?
As a governor, no. It talks about Article 103. It talks about MPs and MCS. Does not talk about the president. Does not talk about the governor.
Mr. Ruto, aren't you being a bit facetious? Because on the one hand, you say that you've just rebranded your party. You still are a member of the URP, and you're trying to sell a new party.
Let me tell you, the party that elected me, under whose ticket I got elected in, recently decided to expel 10 MCAs because they were supportive of county functions. They wanted to be given instruction at the national level. Political parties still give instructions to the MCAs. Sometimes they give them instructions not to pass a budget. In my case, the budgets stayed in the woods for 6 months because of interference from the national level. We would like a situation where counties are allowed to function through public participation and decision making at the lower levels, while responding to the needs of the rural folk. At the same time...
So how does that translate into your party structures? You won't be giving... Okay.
We are giving the counties the autonomy to run their political affairs. It does not matter. The national level coalesces around the president and the parliament. But they have nothing to do with the MCAs and the counties. The counties and the members of the county assemblies are a government, another level of government. There is another level of government at the national level. There are 2 levels of governance in Kenya, and that is the Constitution if you read Article 6.
I fail to understand, because what you seem to be telling us is that your party will not be telling its members how to vote on certain issues.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So there will be no whipping.
There will be
party
whipping within the county. But the national level cannot start whipping Kajiado. The Kajiado structure will decide on their own whipping, decide on their priorities, as long as they are within the general policies of the country that do not contradict with any laws. But we do not want a situation where the national level start whipping Turkana the same way they are whipping Nyamira. The Nyamira issues are completely different. Maybe they want to address issues of agriculture that are unique to Nyamira. You cannot tell Nyamira now follow. You can only operate in this manner. That's what we are saying. But we also want to devolve even political party management. We don't want a situation where the national level continues to dictate issues all the way down. Remember, even right now, as we move towards referendum, for example, the Mashinani, some of the hurdles we are facing under the President Mashinani campaign. Jubilee is whipping MCS not to vote for more allocation to counties, and they are telling them they do that at the pain of being expelled. That, in my view, is curtailing their political rights. It is also curtailing their way they can respond to the needs.
Where is the evidence about that now? What is that? Where is the evidence?
Where is the evidence? They expelled 10 MCS from Bomet on that basis. I want to go to return them on the basis of rights to political views.
But I mean, the matter hasn't even got there yet.
That hasn't gotten where?
The referendum questions haven't been taken.
I am telling. I'm a practitioner in the political field. You are not aware because we have not debated it at the national level. But we know what is happening down there.
Okay.
Yeah. If I had gotten in touch with you, I would have told you. Yes. So if I knew you needed to know.
Mr. Ruto, what's your role in the party besides being a founder? What's your role in the party besides being a founder?
I help shape the ideological direction.
Do you have a title?
No.
So you're not the chairman, president, or anything like that?
Does the party intend to fill the level at all levels?
That is still extremely early.
But the party sets out with a vision to present county level
of course,
positions, candidates.
But right now, remember, these are formative stages.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you, what did you say? Are you in URP or you're not?
What are you talking about URP and what? Which is URP? They have said they are disbanding URP.
It is not disbanded yet.
No.
There is a party called
Remember, they have said they were supposed to disband it on the 18th, but they postponed it to March. So do you wait until March and then you lose direction? So URP does not exist. You are not aware. You are not in the know. Even TNA is about to go. Someone had to go to court to stop TNA dissolution. The MP for Kajiado, for Narok North. Are you also not aware of that? Why did he have to go to court if indeed what you are telling me is true? And why did the courts issue an order restraining Jubilee from dissolving TNA? No one has gone to court on URP, so as far as I'm concerned, the dissolution of URP is finito.
You're contradicting yourself.
In the manner of speaking. I mean, but obviously we know URP is still intact as a political party. It has.
They are not fielding any candidates. There are 2 by-elections in URP areas, and they are not fielding any candidates.
We'll come to those elections in a minute. But let me come to the panelists, because we seem to be hearing contradictory statements from our guest this morning. He remains. I'm seeking the opinions of our esteemed panelists. He's told us that he remains in URP. He doesn't have to quit because the Constitution is silent on governors and their political affiliations. But when Mutegi pressed further on that question, he then tells us that URP is as good as dead. But he's also told us that Mashinani Party itself is not a new creation. It's it was registered years ago, and he's now bringing it out. And so in the whole political scheming as we prepare for 2017, are we seeing politics as usual, or are we seeing new ideas in the political landscape?
There is nothing new. There is one difference that this route was disagreed with the other route. And since they have disagreed that disease cannot be accommodated, and that is so he decided, like Mutua, that will form. Just like the other governor,
Peter Munya.
They can't stay in the same house, so they go their own way. Absolutely nothing. In fact, he said this party was formed with a different name. You cannot say a child is born given a name, then later on a part on Guinea. It's not the same party.
Okay. Just a minute, David.
This is how I would frame it. I think this is part of the political gymnastics of yesteryears, which are attempts to defeat the constitutional objectives of sealing, political tricks, gerrymandering, the kind of duplicity that we have seen in the past. People belong here, but have effectively defected to another political party, or they are wearing this uniform but playing outside in a different team, and you know, we will see this happening, continuing. And the party, I mean, that Mashinani Party that you know, my friend has set up, obviously is an attempt to ensure himself politically against the likely fallout. Okay, it's already a fallout, with URP leadership, and I think he's looking for you know, a home in good time. Except that, you know, whereas these rights are provided and entrenched in the Constitution, they still hearken to the old tactics of politics without discipline, without loyalty, without philosophy, without ideology, where people are here and they're playing here, and we see them in all these colors. Okay,
so far our panelists have a very dim view of your political party.
Of course, my friend's view here is extremely simplistic.
Right.
It's extremely simplistic.
Myself or
because my friend here, I'll talk about your view.
Okay.
My friend here thinks that if a political party was born about a year ago, it does not necessarily have new ideas. We are telling them.
That's not what he said.
That's not what he said. He's talking about a name. What is in a name? The point we are putting across is that you are aware, and you must have followed my arguments for the last 3 years. I'm talking about more resources being devolved to the counties. I'm pushing for absolute compliance. Listen, absolute compliance with the provisions of the Constitution, with enhancement of the allocation to the counties. How is that not a serious philosophical issue? You're also telling me that it is a difference, it's a well-known difference between me and William. Is that on a personal basis? Are you unaware that my issues have been on strengthening devolution? Are you not aware that our differences is between centralization and devolution? Isn't that an ideological question? Is that a normal business as usual? Is it a question of differing with you? Well, because I don't like your face. So when you bring it down to the level of individuals, then you fail to understand what the arguments have been all along. And I will refer you. We've been with you in this debate several times, debating on these issues.
So you haven't answered Mutegi's point that CORD is arguing for the same thing that
CORD.
Yes,
CORD is arguing, but there are certain things, and we are not here to discuss CORD.
No, but
by the way, we are not here to discuss CORD.
What I'm saying is that difference between what we're saying and what CORD is saying about devolving the funds.
Is that the only thing? Or you want me to list all the issues? I don't think this time will allow us. And we are yet to understand there is nothing wrong in parties having almost similar views on certain issues. There are certain issues.
Nothing new.
I'm not in court, by the way. I'm not in court. Are you asking me I should instead have defected to court? Is that what you're telling me? I want to tell you that the management of court is still at the national level. And aren't you listening to what I'm saying? It is also at the national level. They are yet to restructure it to accord with the Constitution, where counties are supposed to have reasonable political autonomy. That is the difference. In fact, in terms of political structure, the two parties of CORD.
Is it really political autonomy?
I allowed you to speak.
Okay.
What you should be asking me is what happened in Jubilee. Then I'll be telling you. Remember when we went into elections last time, Jubilee, in Jubilee's manifesto, we had put in 40% to be devolved. And it is in their manifesto. And for 2 years they were arguing that they have actually done it, when everybody knows they have actually done 15%. So I am telling you that my disagreement with URP, with the Jubilee coalition, is that they have refused to live up to the manifesto we put in place together between URP and TNA in 2013.
Somebody would argue that these are gradual increments that will come with time.
No, we did not talk about gradual increments.
First of all, I mean, if you look at the Jubilee performance, they began with a lower amount of a lower allocation, which has grown in the last year. I'm sure you'll agree with that. Perhaps by the 5th year, they'll have achieved the 40%. It's also about incremental allocation based on the percolation of those resources they use, the uptake we have seen resources returned, even the small percentage given to the counties, because there was no uptake. There was no absorption of those resources.
Nothing has been returned unless you've just arrived.
We have seen
the other option is
control of budget. How much money was never absorbed by those counties?
That is a lie. It's a total lie. And I don't know. I have been on this debate for quite a long time. Munya has been here. Most of the counties governors have been here explaining that there is no money that has ever been returned to the treasury, but you keep on harping on it. That is not factual, and I want to tell you that it is not factual.
Money in central bank.
Your county, did your county spend all the money that it was allocated in 2013-2014 budget and 2014-2015, all of it, or there's some money that was allocated but was not spent because of one or two other reasons?
They didn't get it from the central bank.
Listen, some of the money sometimes is disbursed at the end of June, and then it is now listed as not having been spent before June, because it is disbursed on June 30th. If the money is sent to you on June 30th, you expect to have spent it in May when you are receiving it on 30th June. And these are factual issues which we have brought to your attention. Yes. Unless, of course, because you may want to be Jubilee apologists or you want to push the agenda on national television, you have decided to completely ignore the facts. The facts are
found in the documents produced by institutions, constitutional bodies,
and I would
which we read.
And I would like us to bring those documents here. We read them, and I show him how apologetic he's trying to become for Jubilee. They fail to disburse funds, and then they tell you are supposed to spend it.
What about the money? What about the money?
Okay.
Many MCAs in many counties have been spending going to Israel. Many
going on foreign trips
for benchmarking South Africa.
So what I say, because of that,
the money they were spending that money because there was no other way to spend it.
Listen to me, my friend. Money is allocated to the assemblies basically by the CRA. They indicate the ceiling, and the Senate. So the money given to the assemblies by the CRA and the Senate remains their spending.
Yeah.
Now, if national institutions, including Senate, have set up, for example, in my county, 446 million to the assembly for their operations and maintenance and the building their capacity, I'm not going to start controlling how they use it. The National Assembly are busy globetrotting as well. That is a matter that you need to address there. But that does not mean you can deny mamas in the village the right to medicine because the MCA is traveling. No. Okay. And your arguments are extremely strange.
No. Before we take a break, just one final thing I'd like to clear up about your party, but also your own ambitions. Are you running for president next year?
That is not a matter on the cards right now.
2022.
I basically insist on dealing with issues of the moment.
But we do have elections coming up, and you have formed a party, and that's taking place at the moment.
Oh yes, my friend here may want to contest for the president, but of course he will be disqualified.
But you're not ruling it out.
Because he doesn't believe in the ideals of the party. That's likely to join.
Talking to him.
No, that's a digression. Your own personal ambitions. Given that you've launched this party, are you ruling out a run for the presidency in 2017 and 2022?
I'm simply not discussing it.
You're not discussing it. Why not?
I'm busy implementing the mandate I've been given as a governor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're running for governor then? 2017, you're running for governor?
Yes.
You'll defend your seat?
Yes.
Defend your seat.
Okay, so we have to take a break now. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV. When we come back, the politics of Rift Valley. Can Isaac Ruto's party provide an alternative voice? We've veered into that somewhat, so tell us what you think. Our SMS number is 22422, or you can tweet us using the hashtag Cheche.